Welcome to the spoken tutorial on the fourth part of MySQL and PHP tutorials. In the last tutorial, I used MySQL underscore query function to insert some values into our table. I made a mistake here by putting the date as current date, which isn't my date of birth. I was able to update here. I was also able to specify where I wanted to update using a unique ID key. I was able to specify exactly where I wanted to update. So we've already seen the update in MySQL code. This is very useful. This query and code is the one that is mostly used while working with tables or if you're working with MySQL in general. Next thing I'll show you is how to get the data from your table and how to display it really well. So I will call this update data so that we know what that is. Here we will say extra data. That's a good word to use. Now again we will say extract and we will create a variable. This again is MySQL query and here is some code. This is slightly more complicated than using these single line queries. We use single line queries here, but we could have some code after this in order to display properly. First I will create another record in the table. So we don't need this current date function anymore. I need this right to be shown. Let's create some new value. I'll say Kyle Hayden and I'll set a date of birth here. This one is month. So that is the 7th. And let's say here 24th. So now we got the date of birth. Now we've got male and then we've got Kyle Hayden and we are again inserting this into our database. Let's refresh. Here I'll create another new value. I'll say Emily Hayden and I'll just leave the date of birth as it is for now. This will be female because I'll extract these records at one point. Refresh this again. So we've created 3 records here. I'll comment this right. Back up my database. I'll click on browse in this specific table and you can see that I've got 3 records. Each one of these is called a record of data. We can see this ID has also automatically incremented. We've got the data that we specified and everything that we need. Okay, so we are extracting data here and I will uncomment this. Our MySQL query is going to start with select. This will be either specific records or we can use asterisk to get all the data we need. Now I'll use an asterisk. What you could do is type select first name, but usually when you have table you will need most of the data and it will take longer to do. Depending on the source of the table, this won't take very long. So you already have a couple of records of fields. But for now I'll say select asterisk, which is a star. We can say select star and then we say from. Again we say the specified table, which is people. Here we can say where and how can you filter from the data you want. So I can say select star from people where first name equals Alex. This query will return only one value because we can see that we open up here and there is only one record with Alex. We can do this by using another really useful function called MySQL numRows, and what I can do is echo this out. I'll say echo MySQL underscore num underscore rows. This is the reason we have given these variables here to be stored in. Here we can just type extract. Our extract variable holds our query and our function here tells us how many rows are there in the query that is given out. Presuming that we gave first name as Alex, it will show when we refresh. However, you get 1. Let's change this. Let's put something that's common to two people in this database. That would be the gender. So that will be male or female. Here we can say where gender equal M, and when we refresh we get 2 records. So we can tell how many records we are getting out. This is really useful for saying that how many people in my database are male, for example, and we can see how many males or females are registered to our website. So you can store registered information inside here. What we can also do is order the records. So I'll say order by ID, and we can choose descending, that is DESC, and we can choose ascending, which is ASC. But for now I'll take this out because we haven't actually echoed out our data yet. We haven't displayed out our data to the users that has been selected. So there is no point in using that at the moment. Now here I'll say select star from people because I want to select all the data from this table here. So I can manipulate and show it to the user the way I want. I'll create something here called numRows. numRows equal that. I'll use a while loop. This will use a specific function which is MySQL underscore fetch underscore assoc. It puts this into an associative array. If you don't know what an associative array is, check out arrays tutorial. Coming back, while the row equals MySQL underscore fetch underscore assoc, or associative is what I will say, and this is inside the extract query. We are selecting row as array name, and we are selecting this as an array for all the selected data. I'll stop here. In the next tutorial, I'll show you how to echo out all of this data. I'll probably explain this a bit more in detail. This is Joshua Matthew dubbing for the Spoken Tutorial project.